Pre-ACDF surgery anxiety is a really big deal. It can affect every aspect of your life and make you kind of shut down. I'm Amy Giaquinto, I am Mom of Fix-It, and I'm gonna give you some suggestions on how to make the anxiety a little bit more manageable while you are waiting for your surgery. It doesn't have to be ACDF surgery, it can be any surgery whatsoever, because let's face it, surgery is scary. This was my 10th surgery, so I know a little bit about pre-surgery anxiety. It can be absolutely debilitating. If it's not too much to ask, it would really help me if you hit that like button and the subscribe button and just left me a comment below. I'm really trying hard to spread my information to those people out there who are undergoing this complicated surgery. Thank you so much. What does pre-surgery anxiety look like? Well, first off, you're probably feeling it. You may be having what feels like panic attacks, or your heart's racing, or you're obsessing about little details. It probably is coming up with your sleep, with not being able to sleep really well and having lots of nerves and just not feeling great. Maybe you're one of those people that kind of checks out, and so you might not be effectively communicating with others. You might seem very distanced and you might seem withdrawn. You can also be a little bit depressed or have those depression type symptoms. You feel sick to your stomach, or you end up with a lot of diarrhea and constipation, or even vomiting for some people. Pre-surgery anxiety can cause some of you to overeat or binge eat, and others of you to undereat or not eat at all. So just keep an eye out for that. In a short period of time, you're probably gonna be okay, but you can pack on quite a bit of weight in just a couple of weeks to a month. And you can also lose quite a bit of weight and lose strength, which is exactly what you don't want when you're going into surgery. I mean, it runs the gamut. You could be angry, having mood swings all over the place. I mean, you know, this is a big emotional deal. The first way I like to deal with my pre-surgery jitters is to take a moment with my thoughts and acknowledge that, yes, surgery is scary. It's really freaking scary. This is a logical thing to be scared about. It is not like normal anxiety, where you might have anxiety over, going to a public place, but there's no reason to have anxiety for that. Like, you can't figure it out. But this is direct cause and effect anxiety. So you acknowledge it, you journal about it. But the other thing you can do is start preparing for your surgery, mentally, physically, and then prepare your family for it. And I know that this sounds crazy, but go start buying stuff in advance that you're gonna need when you're home. Start making plans and cooking to have your food ready to go, because all of these things can help really release some nervous energy from your system. You can also get your living will done. Get your regular will done, get your power of attorney paperwork and stuff like that done, so that in case something does happen, God forbid, it probably won't, because most surgeries don't have any problems, you won't leave your family or whoever you want to have your stuff in limbo, okay? And if something happens, God forbid, and you end up on life support, you're gonna wanna make your wishes very, very clear, because having this stuff done gives you some power, even if you are not able to voice your power, because your power is in your paperwork. So you definitely need at least one person, but I usually put 2 or 3 down, who can have access to my medical stuff, because my thought is, if I'm in the hospital and they need to discuss some issue, or like maybe an emergency surgery, if I'm unconscious for some reason with anybody, then if they can't get a hold of my husband, then they can get a hold of my mom. If they can't get a hold of my mom, then they can get a hold of my dad. And these are people I trust from the bottom of my heart with making the appropriate medical decisions for me. So make sure that you have all of that stuff taken care of. That may create its own anxiety, but a lot of times it can help with the anxiety, if you know what I mean, because having a plan really does help. That's the other thing, is know that anxiety is going to probably lead you to make really dumb decisions. So I would advise you not to make any really important life decisions while you are in that anxiety mode pre-surgery. The other thing I encourage you to do is stay the heck away from negative stories about the surgery that you are undergoing, okay? Most surgeries go pretty well. If you do the appropriate physical therapy, you will be doing great. I mean, look at me. I'm back in karate. Is it perfect? No. Am I having neck pain? Well, not really. I mean, it's doing really, really well, and I'm a year out. So I consider this a success story. The other stuff head to toe that's falling apart, well, a lot of that's been falling apart, and having a year of inactivity made that a lot worse. One of the other things I really like to do when I'm dealing with anxiety pre-surgery is get as much exercise as I can. And I know that sounds ridiculous, especially for those of you who are in excruciating pain. In terms of types of exercise, you can do anything. Walking, whatever your body tolerates is great. If you're able to work up a sweat in any way, shape, or form, do it. If you're able to sit in a sauna and that's the only way you can sweat, do it. If you're able to go float in a pool with, pool floaties on, go do it. The point is, try and occupy your brain by doing something active. If you're in too much pain to exercise and you're pretty much non-functional, one of the other things I like to do is put on a set of headphones that are noise canceling headphones and listen to music, because music therapy is extremely helpful. It can really calm you down. Stay off of looking at videos and scrolling on your phone, because that will only increase your anxiety because of how our brains work and respond to that type of stimulation. After surgery, whatever, but before surgery, try and limit the screen time and the video time, and try and focus on listening to audiobooks and just running some music and finding several times throughout the day to breathe and to relax your shoulders. I find that even now, a year after surgery, there are times when I'm up here and I'm like, oh, come on. Relax. I don't need shoulder earrings, because that's not good for your neck, creates stress, you get stress headaches, all of that other stuff. And stress is not good for pain, because stress drives pain up, pain drives stress up, and then you're stuck like this and you're absolutely miserable. One of the other things that can be really helpful in calming anxiety is doing simple tasks like just reading a book, taking a bath, taking a hot shower, go for a long drive. If you're able to sit in the car, go into nature. Even if you're just able to go to a park and sit on a park bench for a while, that's better than nothing. Drawing, doing painting, anything that you find that will help calm you down and make you a little bit slower, so that your body's not like all the time. You do not want to be in fight or flight all the time. And if you're waiting for surgery, that's where you are, unfortunately. One of the best tips I've ever received was from one of my older female friends. And she looked at me one day and she was going in for surgery and she says, "You know what? I'm too old for this. Bleep. I'm going to ask for an anxiety medication so that I can calm myself down and actually function in the world before my surgery." So she did that, and she said it was amazing. So when I went in to have spinal injections done, I was terrified. I've never had a needle stuck in my back in my life. And with my weird anatomy with of a spine, I was terrified something was going to go wrong. And, I thought it was going to hurt super bad. And so I actually asked the doctor if I could have a medication, short-term medication, for the day of the procedure that would bring my anxiety down. And sure enough, they prescribed it. I took half dose because, pills like that always hit me really hard, and it worked. And you know what? I realized after the fact, just as a side note for those of you going in for spinal injections, that I really didn't need the anxiety pill. I mean, I did in the moment, but I've never taken one since with my spinal injections, because it's really not that big of a deal. I made it out to be this huge thing in my mind, but it's not bad at all. It's a little uncomfortable, but you get through it. It's only a few seconds of discomfort. So back to the anxiety aspect of things. Definitely If you find that anxiety is getting in the way of your daily activities, do not be afraid to ask your doctor to get a short run of some kind of anxiety medication. That said, you might want to try taking it when you don't have to go anywhere and you don't have to work, because you also need to know how it's going to affect you. It may knock you out. It may just calm you down. It may make things seem kind of flat. That's what happened with me. I was like, oh, this is kind of boring, but it got me through what I needed to get through. When you are in the pre-op area, you can also ask for an anti-anxiety medication there. They are more than happy to give you something, especially once they're finished with all of the paperwork questions they have. So if you're one of those people like me who runs super anxious all the time and is just losing their mind, do not be afraid to ask. Get through this surgery in the most comfortable way you can. You've got a long haul ahead of you. You do not need to suffer any more than is absolutely necessary. The other thing you definitely want to do is stay away from recreational drugs and alcohol and cigarettes if you can, nicotine, all of those types of drugs before surgery. For one, it's not good on your bones and your bone strength, and you're going to want to stay away from them after. But two, those things can increase anxiety too. So while some of them seem to feel like they take away your anxiety, that's only short term. It's going to bounce back, and it's going to bounce back big time. So know that if you're a drinker or a smoker or a recreational drug user, also be sure to tell your doctors what you are doing and be honest about it, because especially with anesthesiology, if you are a recreational marijuana user, it can be a lot more dangerous for you to go under anesthesia, especially if you do not tell the anesthesiologist that you are using. If you have anxiety about being honest about what your drug and alcohol use is, then you're going to need to just get over that, because that can create a life and death situation for you. So be sure to tell your providers. They're not going to judge you. They are just going to use it to help figure out what kind of meds they can give you in what doses and when that will keep you safe. One of the other great things you can do when you are suffering from really bad anxiety before ACDF surgery or any other surgery is talk to someone else who has been through surgery. Oh my goodness. Go to your local senior center. I don't know, somewhere like that, because I guarantee like a huge percentage of people in there, they will have had surgery and they will have had the anxiety and been through all of it, especially if this is your first surgery and this is like just blowing your mind. They will be able to comfort you and calm you down and give you some of the real positives that come out of having a major surgery. The one thing that I will caution you about when talking to other people is to watch out when you're talking to your anxious friends and family members or neighbors or whoever, because everybody's going to have some anxiety around your surgery if they know about it. And that can be a good thing because some people are just naturally calm and can help bring you down. But for those that have anxiety and are just as anxious as you are, you get into a room with them and that anxiety is going to go kaboom, and both of you are going to spiral into like this depth of despair, and you're going to just it could bring on a full-blown panic attack in both of you. I kid you not. Be aware of that, or have a discussion with the people in your life who are highly anxious about maybe trying to keep it toned down a little bit before your surgery. Also, on that same note, there are people who love to talk about how awful any procedure was. These are the people, and I know you know them, who will go to the doctor's office and they will tell you that the doctor tried to kill them when they were simply trying to stick a thermometer underneath their tongue, okay? They can take the tiniest procedure and make it sound like it was a life-altering experience, and it was god-awful bad. So be careful of those people, because that will get into your mind and it will drive your anxiety up as well, okay? We've all had good experiences with the medical community. We've all had bad experiences with the medical community. The good experiences are more frequent than the bad experiences. So tell your brain to focus on that. One of the other things you can do to help calm your anxiety is to avoid stimulants like caffeine and sugar and greasy foods and things like that. Just try and eat as natural as you can. That said, I am bad with the chocolate. So, as you guys know, I do have a little bit of chocolate. So, if you have something like that, just have it in moderation. If you need your caffeine, again, just understand that it can drive up your anxiety. So, there can be a balance between having a little bit of caffeine and sugar and having your anxiety not go through the roof. So you're just gonna have to use other strategies, but be aware that what you can eat can definitely create a major problem with anxiety. One of the goofier things that I like to do that I don't see anybody else doing is that when I get in for the pre-op stuff, like, you're changing out into the hospital gown and you're getting your IV in and stuff, a lot of times my husband and I will bring an Uno deck and we'll play Uno before the surgery, because having something else to focus on, again, is really critical to keeping the anxiety levels low. That always works, and it's fun, and it passes a lot of the time, and it makes it go by so much quicker. Depending on the surgery center you go to and the hospital you go to, you might be waiting, not at all, and it could be just boom, 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 boom. Like when you have a colonoscopy, a lot of those clinics they're so fast and so efficient, there's no time for cards. Or you could be in one where you're in the hospital situation and the operating room is taking longer to clear up than they expected. So you could be there for a couple of hours just sitting and waiting for surgery. And the last thing you want to do when you're in this position is dwell. A lot of people use their phones for entertainment. I'm not going to judge that, whatever. But I find that being off of my phone and interacting with somebody is much better for me mentally, and I feel like I'm a lot more present and able to continue to answer questions as people come and go, and laugh with people about my choices of entertainment while I'm waiting for surgery. I am going to say breathing, and go ahead and punch me in the face. Pah! Because I am telling you that when I'm anxious and somebody tells me to breathe, the first thing I really want to do is I want to punch them, right? And that's totally normal because it's ridiculous. We all know how to breathe, right? My son will tell you that. He's like, why should I breathe? I already know how to breathe. But the thing is, you can slow your breathing and focus on your breaths, and that will take your mind off of what's happening too. So I like to count my breaths. So I will inhale for 4, exhale for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And sometimes I'll inhale for 7, and then I'll hold for 4 and exhale for 7. And I kind of make it more of a game. And every now and then I'll stick some random thing on my belly as I'm laying on my back, and I'll just watch it go up and then down and see how far up and how far down I can get it. All of these goofy little random things that I do to just get my mind off of whatever's going on and even off of the pain. It works with pain management too, to a point, but it really helps focus on something different, which is exactly what you need when you have the anxiety. Plus, when you're breathing and you're slowing your breath, you're really helping to calm your nervous system down as well. If you can, try acupuncture for your anxiety, because that really is something that will calm you down and calm your nervous system down. Same thing with massage. Those are great things to try. If you're waiting in the pre-op area for your surgery, having some kind person like your husband or your wife or your significant other or somebody like that rub your feet, that's also really calming. Having fidgets, oh my gosh, I take fidgets with me everywhere. That's really good for anxiety because you can kind of wiggle it out, bounce it out, whatever you need to do. And last but not least, if you are really struggling, please reach out to a licensed provider for healthcare, because they will have some additional tips and tricks and be able to really help you out. If you are heading in for ACDF surgery, which of these strategies do you think will work the best for you? Drop me a comment below. I would love to hear all about it. And for those of you who've had ACDF surgery, what strategies did you use to stay calm and to kind of quell the anxiety before you went under the knife? I'm Amy Giaquinto. I am Mama Fix-It, and that is how you deal with pre-surgery anxiety. Look forward to seeing your comments below. Okay, one more thing. I have lost another 2 pounds. So I'm so excited. Anyway, stay tuned. I am working on my weight loss book and on getting that re-released. So it's going to take some time, but be sure to go to my website and sign up to be on my mailing list. I will leave a link in the description below. Thank you so much. Looking forward to it. Bye.